So today I want to talk about 9 different income streams that you can have to achieve financial freedom and live the life that you've probably always wanted to live. I will also break them down into 3 phases so that you can know where to start and how to move forward. So I first want to start out today with a little disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor or an expert by any means. So anything that I'm telling you today is strictly my personal opinion, things that I've learned along the way, and things that I've learned throughout my research on this topic. I am in no way advising you to take a particular path. This is totally up to you. And if you hear anything that you think makes sense, go ahead and speak to a financial advisor or do a little more research on your own before deciding exactly how to move forward. As you may know, if you've been watching my channel, I am also on a journey to financial freedom. Now, my opinion, and also what seems to be the general consensus among millionaires, at least according to every other YouTube I have watched on this subject, is that you should have 6 to 7 income streams, that's what you want to shoot for. It does not mean that's how you're going to start off or that you have to do them all at the same time. But before I jump into the 9 different streams of income, I want to explain a little bit about the 3 phases that I was talking about. So not all these income streams are created equal. Some are going to be much more difficult to break into than others. So phase 1 that I wanted to talk about, I'm calling the learning phase. So the income streams in this phase are really going to be more geared towards learning your new skills that you're going to need to know as you go off on your own, and also helping create a little seed money. Okay, so you really want to, if you can, keep your 9 to 5 or your regular job while you're in this phase and while you're working on these income streams, because it's going to give you the opportunity to save some money and have a little nest egg, and even better, if possible, to maybe replace the income before you leave. All the income streams in this phase are going to be low cost, low overhead income streams, so that you're starting off pretty low risk and you can feel out these ideas that you have. Because a lot of times you have an idea that you might be interested in doing this one particular thing or being in this area, and then you can very easily change your mind. It happens all the time. So if you're feeling all this out in the first phase and you decide, oh man, I really don't know if I want to do this, maybe I want to do this instead, it's all good, because you have your full-time job. You can go ahead and shift gears pretty easily, and that makes it low risk. Of course, like I said before, you can also start growing it and getting your savings account up. Phase number 2, I'm calling the building phase. And so the income streams in this phase are going to help you start to actually build the income that you need to replace that first job, to start to excel, and then eventually get to phase 3 where you can start making your money work for you. My recommendation has always been invest in yourself first. Invest in yourself and your business first, and then you can do outside investing later. Again, just my opinion. It makes the most sense to me. I'd rather trust my money with me and my own skills than out there in the stock market or investing in somebody else's business. And so now if you pick 1 or 2 more in this phase and you have those from the first phase, you're now starting to accumulate more and more income because you have more streams of income. This phase will help you get to that first $100,000, which, if you've heard of Charlie Munger, he says that is the hardest thing to make is your first $100,000, and you need to do whatever it is you need to do to make that first $100,000. Now, keep in mind he did say that a while ago, so with the inflation, I'm sure that you probably want to have a little more than that. But as a general rule, it's still works, the first however much amount of money, 100,000, million, is going to be the hardest amount to make, because you're going to have to, grind to get that money. You don't have the money to work for you. So this is the phase that we're in at this point. This is grinding time. In phase 3, I'm calling the compound phase. Okay, this is where your money starts working for you. This is where things can become, and probably should become, a little more passive. You could probably also call this the investment phase. Okay, so with all that being said, before we go ahead and jump into the 9 streams of income, I just want to make sure to mention also that these 6 to 7 streams that I recommend to have eventually, they don't all actually have to be 6 or 7 different types of streams. So if you are really into e-commerce and you really want to create businesses, and say you want to create 3 different e-commerce shops, then that can still count as 3 different streams of income. There's no reason that they have to be completely different. I would, for diversification purposes, probably make sure that they're not the same exact type of business. Like you wouldn't want to have 3 different planner businesses. So you want to diversify a little bit as far as that's concerned. However, there's no reason that your 6 to 7 different income streams have to be one of each of these. So let's go ahead and let's jump into phase 1 income streams. And the first one that I wanted to mention in phase 1, the learning phase, is consider starting a service-based business. Again, the reason why this is a possibly good solution is because it is very low overhead costs. You're not risking a lot of money. What you would do is you would use skills that you already have. So think about what you already know and what you currently do in your job, and think, is there any service that you can offer? And you can do this freelance. You can reach out to people. You can create a website, to get customers. But you can start off really, really small with just going out and getting 1 or 2 customers, and then gradually build it as you go. And like I said, without, a lot of supplies or anything to buy, because you're not making anything physical, it allows you to have a very low overhead cost. So income stream number 2, and again, still in the first learning phase, is digital products. So you can make and sell digital products, and again, low overhead costs. And what's really nice about this one is that there's so many ideas out there that you can come up with for creating digital products, is that eventually, after you have a good enough store and you're making sales, this could be a pretty passive one, which means when you're ready to move on to another income stream or to phase 2 or whatever it may be, you can allow yourself to free up time while still making money for the work that you put in beforehand. So that's always a good thing. Again, I always think you definitely want to have as many passive income streams as you can, and this is a great one. You can also combine it with the service as well if you want, and if that works for whatever niche that you have. And the third thing that I wanted to talk about, the third income stream in this first learning phase, is content creation. And I definitely recommend starting this earlier. I wish that I had started this first before anything else, because it really makes things a lot easier if you already have an audience to sell to. So whenever you have a new product or business you're creating, you already have this like warm audience. And so as far as content creation, you can really do it. It could be many different social media platforms, and you could do this on TikTok and Instagram. But my obvious favorite is YouTube, because with YouTube, there are so many other income streams within that income stream. So really, it's not one income stream. Okay, so once you get an audience and you have a following on YouTube, you can then start to do affiliate marketing. You can start to do brand deals and sponsorships. And then, of course, there's Google AdSense, which is when you get paid for the ads shown on your videos. And then also, it can give you that audience you need to move on to another phase or to start another business. So it's just win, 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 win when it comes to content creation and And just social media in general is really kind of a necessity now. Again, very low overhead costs, especially if you already have like a nicer phone with a good camera. You don't have a lot that you have to purchase up front for it. And even if you do purchase some equipment up front, that's not something that you're constantly having to replenish. It's not cost of goods or inventory or anything like that. So again, it's a really good one to start off with. So again, like I said before, I would start off with these while you're still working, one or two while you're working, and start to save money and actually start to create the skills that you're going to need to run your own business. There's a lot to learn. Give yourself some time to learn it if you possibly can. So now we'll move on to phase 2 income streams, which is again the building phase. And the first one I wanted to talk about is starting an e-commerce store. And there's a bunch of different e-commerce businesses that you can have, and they are things like print on demand. Maybe you're making something handmade. Maybe you're just sourcing products wholesale. Maybe you're doing private labeling. There's a lot of different forms of e-commerce stores that you can actually have, but they will be physical products usually. And then you also have a good amount of different platforms that you can use that are going to range in features, from Shopify, where you own your own website and you're bringing all your traffic in yourself and it's 100% yours, to doing something on, say, Etsy, where you have a built-in audience there, and you have your own shop, but it's not really 100% yours. It's more of a marketplace. And then you have things like Teespring or Redbubble, where it's really hands-off. You're not having to do anything, but there's no branding involved. There's no setting yourself apart from anybody else. You are getting a commission off of what you're selling. You're not really setting, I think you could set your prices, but it's just a little bit of a different type of platform. And then of course you have Amazon FBA that you can do that with. But there's a lot of options for e-commerce. And so this is one that you can easily have multiple streams just in e-commerce alone. Number 2 and phase 2 that I wanted to talk about is to have a website and or a blog. And what's nice about having your own website, and this I'm talking maybe a more personal website, if you have an audience and you have a store and you have all these other income streams going on, you might want to have one place where people can go to see all of it. Right? So you have your Instagram account linked, you have a blog where you can add Google AdSense and make money that way. You can have affiliate marketing section on your website. You can have a link to an e-commerce store that you have. There's so many things you can do, and you can make the website kind of a central hub so that as you're finding people in all these different areas, you can send everybody to this one place where they can then have access to everything else as well. So the second income stream in phase 2 that I wanted to mention is online courses. And this is great, again, if you had started your service-based, if you have your content creation and you're teaching anything, or any skills and any knowledge you have that you might want to teach somebody else, an online course is a great way to do it. And there's so many ways that you can create online courses, and you can make them as passive as you want, where you just create the course once and then you put it out there for people to buy and then, just let it go. Or you can do something where you're adding more like, live classes and things like that in there, and you have some one-on-one sessions, and it's totally up to you how far you want to take that. But there's really so much that you can do. So as far as platforms, there's a lot of different platforms, but there's a few different types of platforms that you could really be a part of or run your courses on. The first one I want to talk about is probably the easiest one, and that's Skillshare. So you can just basically create this little course, you can put it on Skillshare, and then you just leave it, and you get a commission from Skillshare because all of their courses are included in their yearly plan. So what you get a percentage of that for, I think, however many hours somebody watches your your course. So you don't really have any control over how much money you make on that course, but it's pretty hands off. You put it up there, you don't have to worry about marketing it, you don't have to worry about tech, you don't have to worry about any of that. You just put it up there and let it go. And there are actually so many other software, so many platforms out there that you can use to create online courses. You just want to take some time to research the capabilities of each platform and learn really what you can and can't do with them, because most of them are going to vary a little bit. Decide what it is, how far you want it to go. So this tip is actually going to bring me into the next tip, which is membership sites. Or communities. Okay, so there's a lot of platforms, some of the ones I even mentioned, that you can actually create a membership site. So you can have all different things on here. You can have your online course, but you can have a lot of other things on there to create an actual community. And most of them you're going to be able to actually communicate one-on-one with your audience, with your members. You can have different tiers of memberships. So depending on how much you pay per month, you get different things involved. Maybe you get a one-on-one once per month for this rate. For this rate, you only have access to the videos. You can hold challenges and things like that. There's really an endless amount of things you can do with them. I definitely want to do a video specifically about membership sites because it's something I plan to do, but right now I'm not there yet. So when I get closer to there and I'm doing my research, I will definitely let you guys know and let you know where I'm coming from and what I'm finding out there. Okay, so now moving into the last phase, phase 3, the compound phase, and this is where we really start making our money work for us. This is where we start more investing. And really you want to make sure this is as passive as possible. Okay, so the first thing that I really wanted to discuss, the first income stream, is investing. So we're talking stocks and bonds and options and things like that. Of course, I'm sure you may know, if you've ever looked into investing, that there is a wide range of investments, even types of stocks that you can get into. But one of my favorites, because it's passive, is to get into dividend stocks, whether that would be just personal stocks you've picked out that pay dividends, or whether you're looking at index funds or something along those lines. But you can then reinvest those dividends that you get back, and now you're really going to see your money start compounding. You can also go with day trading or something along those lines, but options, but it's going to take a lot more time, knowledge, know-how, and there's a lot more risk to it. So if you're wanting something that's more passive and you're just money is making money, then I would stick with something more like dividends. Again, I am not a financial advisor, so definitely talk to a financial advisor before you make these decisions. I just wanted to discuss some of the possible options out there for you for investing. Of course, you can always hire an advisor and let them do it, and it will still be more passive. And then you can let them know how risk adverse you are, and they'll go over with you, what the best options are for you personally. And then the second one that I wanted to talk about is real estate investing. And there's a couple ways you can go with this. So of course you can go out and you can buy properties and you can rent them out. You can do that on your own, or you can hire a property management company that basically handles everything for you. You buy the property, they handle it all. Of course, you pay them a fee, but all you do is collect the check for the difference, and that's it. Or you collect your check and you pay them. And so it's pretty hands off. But you may not have the money to just go and buy full properties. So another good option, and probably a better option to start with, is, God, I don't know if I'm saying this right, is REITs. It's REITs, and that stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts. And so here what's going to happen is you have this company that actually owns and finances and rents out properties, and you put a certain amount of money in to buy shares in this property. And then you make dividends based off of what the company makes. And these companies are required to pay out 90% of their taxable income to their shareholders. So There is some risk involved, but it's a lot less than buying your own property, and it's a lot cheaper. And so as you make more money and you want to invest more, then you just buy more shares, and then you can sit there and collect the dividends from that. So all said and done, there are a lot of different paths that you could possibly take with all these different income streams. And no matter what path you choose, you might want to think ahead of time, really kind of where you might want to go, so that you're giving yourself the clearest path that you possibly can. So I hope I was able to give you a lot of ideas on how you can start your financial freedom as an entrepreneur and get to that life that you've always wanted to have. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, then do me a favor and hit the like button so that I can see what videos you guys want to see and I can make more of them. It really helps my channel out, but mostly it helps me know what you want to see. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.